So what do you guys think about the history of Santa Cruz is changing right now because of the work that Kim Stoner and Jeff Dunn and Mac Reed, finding out that there were Hawaiian princes surfing here 130 years ago.
Yeah, he went to Hawaii and got permission to go to a warehouse and look at these boards. Took pictures and measurements and everything.
It's kind of changed the history. You're a part of the town that actually started the whole surfing scene in America.
Well, this was it in Northern California. Southern California people actually surfed, I think, a little bit sooner.
But not
Santa Onofre, a spot, there's a club down there, and Malibu.
Well, would it be true that the princes were the first surfers?
In the United States
In
that
the
we
United
know of in
States?
1885.
So it started in California.
Yeah, it started
on the San Lorenzo River.
right down at the point.
And then those rascals down south tried to get away with it.
Yeah, and it
So
was
they're the spot.
July of 1885 when the three princes.
Well, Huntington, when they finished his railroad, hired a guy from Hawaii to come and surf down south. And they look at it as that's the first surfing. But princes surfed here way before that.
In Santa Cruz.
I had to throw that question in there. What was the biggest day surfing that you can recall that?
For me, it was an August day, and they must have had a storm in the South Pacific. Surf came up, it was a hot day, and the surf was big. We catch them from Indicator all the way to the beach.
Used to be a nice sandbar, now
Yeah,
connected up.
yeah.
Before the yacht harbor.
Yeah, Yacht Hopper kind of changed the fan for it.
That's when Mac Reed says he's coming down in the spring when the sandbar is built up at Cowles. He says that's when he's coming down. He wanted to come down this month, but he don't think he's going to make it.
But you had a time out at Steamer Lane
Oh, yeah.
where
Back then, the only guy I remember was Red Ryder. Reagan was the only guy that I ever knew would go out to Steamer Lane. Nobody else would go out. So one day I thought, I'm as good as he is. So I took out to Steamer Lane all by myself and nobody else out there. And with the old boards, you know, those old boards, 100 and some pounds. And
what kind of board was it?
it was square tail slantwise, they called it. Hollow. And they're not fastened to your leg, of course, like they are now. If they was fastened to your leg and you lost it in one of those, I think you'd find your board over there with your leg. I don't think you would survive it. But anyway, I'm out there and these waves are rolling in and I catch one. And I'm coming down that thing and Harry, I'm not kidding you, it's breaking 10 feet in front of me, I swear. I'm in the big tunnel like you see in the movies. Now, and I'm screaming through that thing, and I mean screaming through it, and I think to myself, if I fall, I'm dead. My board's in the cliffs, and that's the end of it. And I just shoot out the other end, out and around and in, and got down, paddled in the shore, and I never ever went out to Steamer Lane again. It scared my butt off. That was my one experience out there.
Well, I tried it a couple times, and I'd chase a wave over here, maybe not get it, and then here comes a whole bunch of them, all breaking. I just got completely pooped out. I just couldn't handle it, and I was still not swimming at that time, I didn't belong out there.
My experience, most exciting experience was, I think, about the winter of 1948 during Christmas vacation. Bill Litterdale and I were going to Cal Poly together, and it was a afternoon, high tide, huge surf.
This is here.
Here in Santa Cruz, yeah. And if you remember that Bill Grace, you guys in the fire department put a fire hose down so we could get down out there at the Cove by steamer.
Oh, somebody did.
That's what
I thought it was Bill Grace. But anyway, there was a ledge down about 8 or 9 feet, and then another ledge below, and you could put your board over the edge and then go down the rope, go down the fire hose, and then move the board down to the next level and then go down. Bill Litterdale, it was a high tide, about 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon in December. And so it was we were able to get out. If you know a high tide there, there's a strong flow of water toward the wharf. And so you go out there, and then pretty soon you're way off toward the wharf, then have to paddle over. So we did, and caught a couple of smaller of the big waves. And so I catch one, I'm going in, I'm coming back out, and I see Bill, and he's pointing back behind him. He's on a good-sized wave, and he's pointing behind him.
He's
and
riding the wave, pointing
He's
back?
riding on the wave, and I'm paddling out, and he's telling me that there's something behind. And so I go up and over his wave and see this foam. I mean, it already broken well outside. It looked like about 20 feet, maybe 10. I don't know, but it was big. And it, of course, Bill was washed into the caves. If you remember, before the riprap was put in out there, why there were caves.
Yeah.
And so this one cave had a little pinnacle rock out in front of it. And so Bill's board went in there. So here this thing picks me up, and I'm hanging on, and we're being washed, and I realize we're getting close to the cliffs. I better let go of this thing. So I did, and a board went into the same place where Bill was.
I'll be there.
And Bill was going with a girl that was Catholic then, and he was converting to Catholicism. And so here the wave comes in, and Bill goes like this and then jumps behind the rock. And you know, that guy was a guts ball. He
was
got
tough.
those boards. The boards went in the hole, and he did that 2 or 3 times and got them out, and we paddled out and finally washed on over to Cal. The boards were really beat up. I had one of Bill Grace's old boards. And anyway, that was a harrowing experience, and I believe somebody called the fire department. We were the only ones out, and it was getting late in the afternoon, and I thought, well, you know, we're pretty lucky. But then I've always said, if I were in a big trouble and I needed help, it would be Bill Litterdale.
Bill Grace, he would not
He
stop
had-
till he saved you.
He was guts ball. Went to Cal Poly. He used to be head of the guards when he was my sergeant when I was working as a lifeguard. And he became a professional scout into scouting, and at one point was the admiral of the Sea Scout program nationally. A great fundraiser. He would convince the large companies and go to lunch with the guys and get them to commit to the scout program. But he did a very good job. Bob and I both went to his funeral here. He died on the way into UCLA Hospital for a new heart. Wonderful guy. One of the toughest guys I've ever known.
Oh, he was. He just didn't know what quit was.
That's right. He was a boxer at Cal Poly too. Yeah.
It used to drive me crazy on the volleyball court. And then try to serve, not get it over the net.
Yeah.
When I was growing up and surfing in the 60s, we had a lot of my friends didn't make it in. They were 4F because they had big giant knobs on their knees and on their insteps. But you guys kind of pioneered that whole surf knob thing, didn't you?
Yeah.
You guys knee paddled the hollows, right?
Yeah, well, Claude Haran had big knobs, surfing bumps, and he also had a heart murmur, so he didn't get in the service.
Those bumps weren't they about, some of them about like that?
I still have one on my right knee. We did a lot of knee paddling, you know, that's what caused those. And I had on both knees, and they got a little raw, some kind of festered, also down on my ankles. And a lot of guys had this.
They're called house-made knees.
Yeah, I still have one that's fairly pronounced.
Yeah, in my generation, the Vietnam era, a lot of guys had those knobs, and actually it was in the movie Big Wednesday.
Oh,
That one of the guys had really big surf knobs, and the doctor was hitting the knob with a hammer. He says, "Does that hurt?" And he, do you remember the last time you went surfing, or the last time that you caught a wave?
I can't.
Well, I went out in '06. I caught several waves. Had a lot of guys helping me, but I don't have it paddling. No strength at all paddling.
Did you know inside that this might be the last time you went go surfing?
I
just
didn't.
kind of worked out
I
that
didn't
way.
think about that,
Yeah.
but I realized that I need more strength to be out there. I just don't have it.
Yeah, it's definitely a demanding sport. You can get in situations.
Yeah.
That's a long ways from Harry when I used to watch you. You ran your board in like this and turn around on the board and be facing out. You would turn around and be
Stand
backwards. Backwards. Yeah. Generally when there was some girls on the beach to watch.
They had dogs surfing last night, and they turn around to see where their master is. But the board's going,
Oh, really?
that was on the news last night. I saw it.
huh?
I saw it in the news.
Yeah.
Well, my last surfing, I believe, was down at Cowell's. I started surfing as a kid at Capitola. I was 12 years old in 6th grade, and I was. Then when I got into high school and surfed all my life, at 17, I counted them up the other day, 17 total boards, and still have a few of them, a couple out in Hawaii. But I haven't surfed since I was 82, and that was at Cowell's here. I think I surfed for almost 70 years. And Kim Stoner carried my board back up for me. I was pooped, and I had I've had atrial fibrillation, and my heart was going so fast that I could hardly get up the steps. And Kim carried my board up, and this was about maybe 6 years ago.
That's pretty good, though.
Huh?
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I just, it was all part of my life. I carried a board. I always had a van. I carried a board all the time. Surfed the places up and down California, and then we got a place out in Hawaii, and I kept a couple of boards in the racks at Waikiki. And still have a Hawaiian board.
And you
out
let
there.
me, you know, when I
You
was
used,
on one,
well, you used one of
I
my boards
used your
out
board,
there.
you told me, I forget whether it was a key or.
That was an O'Neill board that I had
Yeah,
taken out,
yeah,
there,
it
one
was.
that had belonged to Dave Devine many years
Oh, was
ago. Yeah,
Good surf that day too.
well, good. Gene McKenzie used it too,
Oh,
yeah.
do you remember when Edie and I went up to buy Cowles Beach?
When you what?
Went up to meet Henry Cowell and try to buy Cowles Beach.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You recall that? Okay, I'll tell it then.
When you
got
went up,
time?
saw Henry
Oh, we'll
Caldwell.
Yeah. I cannot remember how it started and how these dumb surfers who are not 21 years, they're probably 18, 19 years old, maybe 20, sitting around and decide that we should buy Cowles Beach. I don't think there was $1,000 in the whole bunch of us. But anyway, I was elected to go up and talk to Henry Cowell, Cowell Lime and Cement, who was almost 100 years old at that time. So Edie and I got in my car and we went up to San Francisco. We looked up didn't even call for an appointment. Just looked up in the phone book where his office was on Market Street in San Francisco. So we went up, parked the car, and find the door. Here it is, Henry Cowell Lime and Cement Company. Open the door and go in and go up a flight of stairs. And there's a door there, and we open the door. And inside, I'm going to say 50 to 100 desks. No, not one person in them, all empty desks. Big office. Nobody there. And I said, anybody here? Suddenly a voice comes from way in the front back on Market Street. And I said, yes, back here. Can I help you? And I said, yeah, we're looking for Henry Cowell. That's me. Come on in. So we walked back, Edie and I, and he kind of introduced myself and Edie, and we're not married yet. And he said, well, what can I do for you? And I tell him that, well, we're very interested in buying the Cowles Beach. He said, oh. Now, he never insulted me by saying, where's your money or anything. He said, well, I'm just sorry, it's in an estate and there's no way that I can sell it out of it, but it's nice of you to come. And I thought that was the end of it. And then he started asking about Santa Cruz. So we talked about Santa Cruz. He hadn't been there for a long time. He had a picture on the wall of when he was in the fire department, not in the volunteer fire department, when they pulled the carts. And I noted, I had seen that picture before, and I said, that's you in that picture. And boy, he got all pleased and happy. So we talked for about half an hour, I guess, and then went on. Nice old gentleman, but too bad here. If you guys had put him some money, we could have bought that beach.
Well, was he involved with did he help you guys build your clubhouse?
Had nothing to do with
Nope.
any of that.
No.
But of course, he gave the property for UCSC, and a lot of stuff that he's done, given money.
Junior Chamber of Commerce helped build a
Board house.
board house. That was a nice community benefit.
I've seen pictures of that. And the clubhouse with you guys kind of hanging out on the front porch.
I
Santa-
believe that Harry's grandfather built that clubhouse.
Well,
Am I right?
he built it as a vegetable watermelon stand over by the railroad tracks for Sunday Furrow. And then Sunday Furrow moved it over and made a hamburger stand. We'd hang out on the deck when it wasn't open. And then the war came and he couldn't get hamburger. So we rented it for a long time. And then we finally bought it. In '44 we bought it.
Harry, I have one last question. I'm sorry, Bob. Maybe you can add to this. How did you end up with all this beautiful footage and pictures? And I mean, you're like the curator of the Santa Cruz Surf Club, and now we have all these great images that the world is just loves. Did you do some of the shooting yourself, or you made sure they were all preserved?
I just collected them little by little, one way or another. Got a lot of them from Hooper, Lloyd Hooper. He had the camera, took a lot of pictures.
Some great stuff, and film too. I've seen some really neat film. Bob, you were gonna
I
say?
forget about.
Definitely want to thank you guys for being here, and it's really a
Thank you, Mike.
real
Yeah.
privilege
Yeah.
to know you guys and for telling us these great stories. And I have to tell you that we're all really inspired.
We don't like to stress on the blues. No, don't do much of that.